So over the break, you had this assignment. This was the test that Miss Levine gave. So I'm going to go through it with you. This way you can check your work. That's part of the bonus, is you also having to check your work. We're taking a look at number 1. So you're given B is the midpoint. Well, a midpoint splits a segment into 2 equal segments. You're given DB is congruent to EB. And then you're given this perpendicular business. Well, there's no such thing as SSA, right, or ASS. But when we have SSA or ASS, they're the same thing. Under the condition that these angles are right angles, that is hypotenuse leg. That's why it is often referred to as the donkey theorem. All right, so this is hypotenuse leg. Taking a look at number 2, we're given PR is congruent to SQ, and we're also given this perpendicular business, and we have reflexive. Now, for most kids, it's easier if you just separate the 2 triangles, the 2 right triangles. So here we have P, R, Q. And then over on the right, we have S, Q, R. So it's easier to see that these 2 triangles are congruent by side angle side. The way you would do this proof is you would state that you have right angles, then all right angles are congruent. You would use reflexive, and then the triangles are congruent by side angle side. Whereas in the first one, the first question, instead of establishing that the right angles are congruent, you would have to establish right triangles. That is extremely important. To know the difference between these 2 questions, you would establish right triangles before hypotenuse leg in the first question. Whereas in the second question, you would establish that angle PRQ is congruent to angle SQR. All right, that's the difference. Taking a look at number 3, we're given that AC bisects BAD and BCD. And we already have reflexive. And now you can see it's angle side angle. Taking a look at number 4, we have that M is the midpoint of TP. Be careful here. Make sure you read the question correct. TP. We already have vertical angles, by the way. You're allowed to assume those. So you can see that this is now angle, angle, side, because the right angles will be congruent. Taking a look at number 5, we're given that angle A is congruent to angle E. C is the midpoint of AE. And of course we have vertical angles. This is angle, side angle again. Taking a look at number 6, we have that these angles are congruent. We also have that this side here is congruent to the side here. Of course, angle 3 is going to be congruent to itself by the reflexive. I think it's best if we separate the triangles at this point to see that it's angle side angle. I think most kids would have difficulty seeing this. So I'm drawing the left one. A, C, D. And then let me draw the right one down here because I don't have room. Okay, your picture doesn't even have to be good. You can see mine is certainly nothing to write home about. I just need the marks. So now it's easier to identify angle, side angle. Remember my suggestion, draw the triangle separately. Look only at one triangle. Which statement is not valid? Okay, like we've said time and time again, there's no such thing as SSA. The Regents won't write ASS anyway. Take a look at number 8. So we have AB is congruent to AC. And then we have that BD is a third of BA, CE is a third of CA. So that means this little piece here is congruent to this little piece here. All right, that has to be. And the reason that would have to be, kids, is because of the division property. Thirds, you could also say thirds of equals are equal. All right, now let's focus on the question at hand. We want triangle EBC. This little guy here, to be congruent to triangle DCB. DCB. All right, let's draw them separately. I'm going to color code them for you. So here's D, B, C. Now, of course, by reflexive property, this is congruent to itself. We know that. We already have that this side is congruent. Let me draw the other triangle, the yellow one. E, C, B. We have this and we have this. Okay, so now on the outside, this requires a moment of logical deduction on your behalf. This is an isosceles triangle. Therefore, this angle must be congruent to this angle because sides across from congruent, angles across from congruent sides are congruent. So these two triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. You're basically doing a proof without doing it when you're doing these multiple choice questions. Taking a look at number 9, we have angle B is congruent to angle F. BA is congruent to FL. All right, and we want to know which statement is needed to prove. So I personally would take this triangle and I would draw it so that it's in corresponding position because it's going to be less confusing. So here's F, here's L, here's U. Now it's much easier to see, okay, what would I need in order to prove these congruent? So if we had angle A and angle L, that would prove the two triangles were congruent by angle, side, angle. So why make it any more complicated than that, right? Much easier when you draw these in corresponding position. All right, number 10. They're telling us these triangles are congruent, so that means we have corresponding sides, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So therefore, JK would be congruent to MN, so D doesn't work. JL, MO. Choice C works. This is the first letter, the third letter. The first letter, the third letter. Remember, I've discussed with you, they have to type them up in corresponding order. Taking a look at number 11, reflexive for free. Bad is bisected. And then these angles are congruent. So this is angle, angle, side. From the beginning, I told you guys, be very careful with knowing the difference between angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. So you were lucky here. They actually didn't confuse you. Taking a look at number 12, we have reflexive is true automatically. And we want to know which statement is true. Well, these triangles are congruent, which means once the triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle, then CPCTC is at play. So we can assume AB must be congruent to, oh no, AB we can assume is congruent to BC. We can't deny that this is true. We just can't, we're saying must be true. AD, CD, there you go. Those are corresponding parts. Number 13, the corresponding parts are marked already. Using only the information given, which pair of triangles cannot be proven congruent? So we're looking for a side-side angle situation without right angles. This one would have been angle, angle, side, so that's good to go. This is angle, side, angle, which is legit. And this is hypotenuse, leg, which is legit. But side, side, angle is a no-go. Number 14, which reasons can be used to prove that WX and WZ are congruent, knowing that these larger segments are congruent? So when you go to do this proof, you would have to do XY is congruent to XY, reflexive, and then you would need to subtract. You would have to do the larger piece minus the smaller piece is congruent to the larger piece minus the smaller piece. Semicolon, replace that with the answers. And the answers to those subtraction problems are WX, YZ. And that is subtraction. So you're basically doing the proof. Reflexive and subtraction. Take a look at number 5. What is the reason for proving that B and D are congruent? Well, you can see once the triangles are congruent, then you have CPCTC. Number 16, we have quadrilateral ABCD. All right, I'm just seeing here. Okay, so this had, this went on to another sheet. Okay, so let me stop here and then I'll make the other video. Thank you very much.